Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear and see me. I would like if you all say shortly hello, unmute your microphone, and then we get started. I record the session, which means we can look at it afterwards. I go through, today we do PMF training, wholesale training, then we go into ozone wholesale training, and then we go into Rife, so that you can sell any of your equipment that you have and you can use your own device as a demo and then sell those and earn quite a good income. Nobody, hello?
Hey Marcus, JT, how are you guys?
JT, say hello. Oh, see, I knew that you would be. All right,
It's all good.
then let's get started. If you mute your microphone, I will do little breaks in between where you can ask your questions so that we really make it interactive. I don't want to teach like in a video. This is about communication and talking with each other. I can hear you here on my little speaker. You can see my screen. I will switch to my slides so that you can see the slides close up. When I show you device, I zoom into the PMF device. And otherwise, if I show you how to do a treatment and how you apply it, then I do that with the big screen. So you can see all of that close up. And if you want to see something more in detail, you need to let me know. Just unmute, ask your question, and I hear it through the microphone. All right? And now let's get started. We had a massive boost in PMF sales like I've never seen before. And just over the weekend, we sold 2 PMT 120 and 4 of the Clinic Duo, which is going crazy, and 6 of the little ones. So you can see, and that's just weekend, Sunday morning phone call, Marcus. And that's only from the PMF expert training that is out there and some of the PMF videos. And I would like you to have the same success. It's fun to earn money, and it's fun if you have a device that you can use to show and then sell the equipment directly to your clients. So we have 2 versions. Number 1, you have an affiliate account, which is always a bit of a challenging thing. You tell them your affiliate account, but they go to the website using an iPad or a phone, and then they order, and then your cookie, which is, you know, the cookie that they store on their computer, is not on their iPad, so you lose out on the sale, or they've signed up through someone else's link, and then that person gets a commission. So affiliate is interesting if you have a large list. See, I have a large PMF list, a large interest list, so I send everybody to that list an email, and they sign up, and then they become my clients. And if 1 or 2 go miss, it doesn't really matter. We had last week a webinar with a client who is unmuted. If you have no question right now, please just mute your microphone, and then we open up for questions afterwards, because otherwise I always hear that noise. So the thing is, with affiliate, I had a radio station, an interview in London, and I gave him my affiliate link, or her affiliate link. We had the interview, and then we sold 24 devices. That's huge. So it's a massive commission that she gets, 10% out of that. Now, that's affiliate, and you can always do that, but it's more interesting if you already have a large database, if you have a large clientele. If you have rather one-on-one clients, if you deal with people at a workshop, you would use your device, you set your device up, you showcase, and we talk about that in a moment, how this device is used, but then you sell the device to the client. You charge whatever it's worth, $14,000 or $13,000 for the device, and then you order it from me with your discount coupon, and that I'll talk about all of that in the technical side, and that gives you, you know, a 20% commission, 25% commission, up to 30% commission, depending on how many you sell. I have quite a few chiropractors and practitioners who do it that way, and that's why I thought we need to implement that with all of you. because it's a huge income stream and you show anyway and you explain anyway, so why shouldn't you earn the money as well? Okay? Now, there's a few very important rules when you show your device to your clients. See, everybody can kill themselves easily. They can eat themselves to death. They can put toxic cream on their children, spray them with insecticides and pesticides. They can take drugs and alcohol. Slow motion suicide is totally legal. And in the same way, you can lose weight, you can eat healthy, you can get fit, and you can treat yourself. And there is one very important factor that we need to discuss, and that is you treat yourself and not others. I know all my practitioners are slightly, mini doctors. I want to treat patients and get rid of cancer, and I'm the super doctor, and I do that really well. But it's a risky thing, like treating people is legal with PMF. You do it, but not for the purpose of defeating a disease. So
Okay.
that's why we need to learn about language. We need to learn what we do. And, doing yourself, pulling a tooth or lobotomy is not really wise. But treating yourself with a device that I teach you how to do it, well, that's a fantastic tool. And a lot of people say it would be nice if I was a doctor or I was a practitioner or a naturopath and then I could treat people. It's actually not true. In America, a lot of states deny. In Australia and New Zealand, now they've cut out all payment support for naturopath and nutritional doctors. And so it's getting less and less, which means you need to deal with the client direct, and the responsibility of treating them is kind of a challenge, especially if you treat minors. And please be very, very careful. I've seen now 3 doctors and 2 coaches being arrested because they were treating minors. Minors are even taken away from parents if they refuse chemotherapy and radiation. They go into foster homes. It's a sad story. It's a drama beyond. But if you get involved and you treat minors, even with the consent of the parents, you are liable for anything that happens. So be very, very careful. If the parents treat their child, it's still not legal, but they can keep quiet. So rather teach them the circumstances, what the situation is, and then let them treat. If a child has chemotherapy and you give them PMF treatment and they flush out all those toxins out of the cells into the system, they can have a Herxheimer reaction, massive, and then they go run to the doctor because of the Herxheimer, and you're liable. You are in trouble. So be very, very careful with minors. Also, those who don't want to be fixed. I always say that when I go somewhere and the wife comes and my husband should do, and they are very worried, and the husband has no interest in getting well. It's always that both parties, or if the children want to get the parent well, and then, or the parent wants to get well and the children don't support it, you always have one problem, that if something goes wrong, the party that didn't agree can sue you. So be careful. Treating patients is a bit of a challenge, and don't promise the impossible. This is another big problem that we see quite often, that people sell, well, just buy a PMF and you can cure your cancer. It's not true. It is a tool that we use on the journey, but it is not something that cures cancer. And that's where language becomes very, very important. PMF basics. Is there any questions beforehand to what I just said? I know you're still a little bit in delay. Is there any questions? Just say at least hello.
Oh, Marcus, no, you mentioned, you cut out a couple of times. You said how you go by to, you don't treat the kids. You basically explain to the parents and they can treat them. I got that part. But where we go, or where are we going to find out in depth with all these hoops and go arounds, or what do you have to be very careful? Where I learned that?
I just told you, minors are taboo. When you go and have a minor, a child, and you go to 25 German, American, Mexican cancer clinics, about 23 will refuse and deny you. It is a critical thing. It's a very critical thing that a lot of people will not touch because of the liability and the legality. So just minors stay clear. And if the parents do it, tell them that they shouldn't run to the oncologist and say, oh, we're treating with PMF, because if the oncologist is not in agreement, they can come back to you. They can sue you for telling the parents to do that. They can take the child away and force treat it with chemotherapy. Too many difficulties. So just minors stay away. Also, if a couple comes, and I say that clearly, if one is in agreement, but the other one is hesitant, I had often that the wife says, oh, can you talk my husband into using PMF or doing this or doing that? And I said, no, if he doesn't have the prior knowledge, give him the PMF training, give him the knowledge. And if he doesn't want it on his own, I won't sell it to him. I won't treat him, because it's on personal choice, not on my recommendation. Because if I recommend and something goes wrong, I am liable. You understand what I mean?
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just wanted to, just on that point, Marcus, just wanted to know, what country was it those people got arrested in?
That was in England, which is anyway a very critical thing, and in Australia and in America. In America, it was with children. There was quite a big report. They started for a while to confiscate children. In New Zealand too. You know, check up the Usher Foundation in New Zealand. They have a program where they raise funds and then take parents that where the children are diagnosed overnight into another country. So they take the parent and the child and fly them out to Germany to two of the clinics that treat children, and sign them up with a doctor there so that the legality is qualified. Because otherwise, if the child has no legal doctor signed up for them, then they actually can take the child away. And New Zealand is pretty strong with that. They take the child straight away into foster care and do the treatments.
Wow. So you just to get this straight, Marcus, you're saying if you your own children, if you don't want to treat them with chemotherapy, that's against the law?
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. That's why when you have a child being diagnosed, you need to be very clever and very smart and very well educated. See, this would be one of the niches that you could pick. You can say, look, I educate parents that when they have child and there's a diagnosis of cancer, how to bypass legalities, how to get immediately signed up with European doctor, how to do most of the treatments legally at home. So that could be a niche, how to help those parents. But it's a tough process because usually they learn the hard way.
Yeah.
The children are taken away, they are force treated, and then they wake up and say, well, I don't want that, and then it's too late.
Jeez. An eye-opener.
Gee. Are we ready to go on to the next slide? I can pull you the slides in so that you can see them closer.
Marcos?
You have seen probably many of the slides already from the PMF expert training. What I did here is really bring it to the essence. If you sell PMF, You know, it's not a treatment against arthritis. It's not a treatment against brain tumors. It's not a treatment for anything, you know, which you promise, because that's where you can be sued. And that's why when you look at all my trainings, I say, if you have cancer, you want to detoxify because cancer load is highly toxic with heavy metals and bacteria overgrowth. And to get the heavy metals out of your system, PMF. And that's why I would like to go through with you very short, just the basics, that you remember them. And that's what you use as an argument. And you get the charts anyway, and the slides, contraindications, everything. So energize with PMF. It's like I always say, the toothbrush, you know, tired toothbrush that doesn't work anymore. I put that on the stand and then it recharges. There is no direct contact. It's an infused energy. Same thing for our cells. If we get tired because we have, chronic disease, we have ongoing disease, we have a flu, we have a viral load, we have high inflammation. All of those things make you extremely tired. So filling the body with energy, recharging every cell so that it works again, is actually a process that I can do without any problems. So if I say, look, PMF will recharge, give you more energy, give you more healing energy for your body, then that is legal, is absolutely safe. I can say that because it's true, and there is plenty of research. So that's why we do it. If we talk about the next subject, we oxygenate with PMF. Again, there is plenty of research that your oxygen uptake in the hemoglobin of the red cells is massively increased. So all of a sudden, your red blood cells come into the lung where they take up oxygen, and that oxygen normally is sucked through two membranes. So you have first the membrane of the lung, and then you have the membrane of the red blood cell. So through two membranes. So if the hemoglobin has a very strong potential, a charge, then it pulls a lot of oxygen through those two membranes and binds it to the hemoglobin, and then it travels through the blood and releases to the tissue. Now, the release happens in area of low oxygen, and that's triggering the hemoglobin to release it. It's electrical charge. Now, that is massively increased with PMF. We have that transport to the hemoglobin and the release of the hemoglobin improved. And that is oxygenation to the body, and oxygen-rich areas don't develop cancer. Anaerobic areas, low oxygen areas, develop cancer and inflammation and chronic disease and higher bacterial overload, all of that. So we counter effect all of that with PMF, and that is why it's so effective. So yes, you can do hyperbaric oxygen, but it's a lot more effort. It's a lot more a local treatment at a clinic than a do-it-yourself at home. And that's why PMF on a daily basis, regular, turning it on, will increase your oxygen uptake, which then helps with angiogenesis, helps with everything. So for me, oxygen has become one of the main key elements in healing. The more I understand it, the more I learn about it, the more I'm fascinated about it. The next factor is detox with PMF, and you all know that. And I have to just get it very short. I need to show you guys, this is something we've been testing now for quite a while with clients. And it's a real beautiful thing. Let me see if I can switch here, show you.
That the black box too, is it, Marcus?
Can you see the title?
Yeah.
Huh? Is it in the picture?
Yeah, the black box too, yeah.
Black box 2 from Quicksilver Scientific. And this is an amazing product. It has, I just got this one new. I finished with mine. I did a 3-month program. And it comes with a nice little handbook. You can see the handbook that gives you complete instructions on how to use it. and it has a 3-month supply in it. I hope I get it.
Is that 3 months? 3 months supply, Marcus?
It has
or
a
1
3-month supply. 3 months.
Oh, is it?
So you go through, and
Okay.
it goes through all the different stages of the liver and the different pathways that are activated. So I quite like that thing. And Sabrina has tested it with Benedict with quite a number of clients, and the results are really fantastic. So we, instead of using clay and modified citrus pectin and chlorella and all of those things that we put together, I actually use this now and have better results because of the liposomal uptake. That's something I would like to mention to you in this concern, because this is a really important part. If you have a client that is highly toxic, has a lot of medication for many years, that medication is often not metabolized, not used. So it's stored in many cells and fat cells. And now you start using PMF, you open up the cell membrane, you clear all those cell membranes, and you can see that in my slide here. You can see all those different glucose transporters, sodium, potassium, ion channels. All of those, they clog up with heavy metals and with toxins. And then all of a sudden you clear that out, and then toxins flood the body. I had several clients that went, and even here I do sometimes demo, and people come in to check different devices. And we have next week the big PMT, the digital PMT, all of them here for a training session that we record. And then people come and check it out. And if they have taken medication for a long time, if they have been on chemotherapy, yay, they do 5 minutes and they can turn green. They get sick, they get real nauseated, headaches, all sorts of problems. So when you know about a client, and this is always important when you talk to them beforehand, just talk about their medication, talk about what they take, how many treatments they had, what they do to detoxify. If they don't do anything and that's the first time, it really can knock them out. And then you have other people, they sit there and do a 20-minute treatment, no problem at all, don't even feel dizzy. So it really depends on what their storage is, how well their liver detoxifies. If they detoxify very badly and you push out all those toxins and you have not primed the body with binders, then it can cause, you know, that circle. Detox phase 1 makes it more water soluble, more toxic, but detox phase 2 doesn't let it go. You can cause a lot of havoc. And that's why we always recommend for training session, this is, you remember when I did the training in Las Vegas and the lady fell over and was taken to clinic and then her oncologist took us to court? Well, that was my learning curve. I didn't control the process. I just said to everybody, oh, just use it, you know, it's fine. You can test out the device. And I said, just be careful. And that was my luck. I had it on video and on audio that we warned everybody that if they have high toxic load, that it becomes, that was my saving grace, because I said it twice. And because she didn't listen, I could prove afterwards that I gave the warning. So be very careful. If somebody comes with high toxic load, you don't want to knock them over and then get into trouble.
Excuse me, Marcus, just on that.
Any questions to that?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Marcus?
Yes, I can.
That's a bit of a delay. So you would
Can
recommend...
everybody else hear?
Yes.
Just so
Daniel,
you would...
keep talking.
Yep, you would recommend, in that case of somebody with a high toxic load, before jumping on the PMF, to start getting those, say the Detox 2 products in there, the binders, the liver flush, and that, start them on that first before introducing PMF to them, so to get the detox pathways actually moving first?
It's an automatic email in my system. If somebody comes to me and buys a PMF machine, they get an automatic email which is sent out as soon as the purchase has happened. They get an automatic email telling them to buy either modified citrus pectin, chlorella, clay, zeolite spray, or the detox box, and prepare until the device is shipped, because it takes them usually about 4 days production time, up to 7 days at the moment, and then it's shipped. So it takes them almost a week and a half until they get the device. And during that time, they can order the supplements and start doing the preparation, so that they have really afterwards the fastest and most effective results. They build up binders. To have binders in your plasma, to have binders in your gut, it actually takes 2, 3, 4 days of just starting with that whole box, and until your body starts to saturate, until your liver starts to process better. So it's always wise to do that beforehand. Now, you don't do that for someone who comes for a show, a demonstration. But that's where I said, if somebody comes to me and says, Marcus, can you show me the PMF? Then I turn it on, you know, like I have here the pad behind me. You see that?
Yep.
So I put the pad behind them, and then I turn that on level 1, turn on 5 minutes, and now they can feel it. And I go up and show them if it's on 5. Oh, it really feels strong. And that's enough to show them how it feels. And then I go down to 1 and have them do the treatment for those 5 minutes. And that's cool. Then I can show them how they do a treatment around the knee and everything. But I keep it on a low level, only short the strong to show. And then I go back down. So if I do a short treatment with them and I show them, they don't have those detox reactions in that massive way. If I tell them, they say, oh, I'm keen, I want to buy. Then I tell them that they need to get something like this. I have 6 boxes now here, because I actually give those to clients and package them into the whole bundle. This way we achieve better results. They are helped more efficiently, and I can order them wholesale and sell them with the PMF machine separately. So see, there's always possibilities to earn more money, but you just guarantee the client to have better results. Let me turn that off, that you don't have the duck, 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 duck behind you. All right, any other questions?
When's the Australian dollar going to get any better?
Claudia? That's a nice. You know, yesterday was the highest point in 7 years.
I know.
1.49. Yesterday, the highest point ever in 7 years. It's a shocker. But it's dropping again, so it's good. No one else? Any? Claudia?
Marcus.
You're also quiet today. Arthur?
Marcus. Arthur.
Yes.
Marcus. Marcus, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, I can.
Marcus. Arthur.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Arthur, I can hear you very well.
I have a client,
yes.
basically a friend who actually is a veterinarian. Well, he takes care of horses. Yes. So, yes, can the dual be useful for horses? For horses, you've previously described the PMF 120 as the most effective for horses. But I'm just thinking for budget
Okay,
purposes, would the
Arthur,
dual be
Arthur.
appropriate for horses as well?
Arthur, your internet connection is very slow, so we are coming in a delay. I will give you a call afterwards. Yes, you can use for horses. It is very powerful. There is no Derby winner, no racehorse ever without PMF. We sell probably half to
Marcos,
horse
are we
owners
still
and the
on?
other half to people. So it is very powerful, but let's talk afterwards because you are very,
Yes.
very slow internet. And Claudia, would you mind closing your microphone, because everybody who doesn't speak, please mute the microphone, because it just makes it very difficult. There's a lot of background noise. Mute. Oh, you are all so good. Thank you so much. And if you want to say something, then it's a lot cleaner for everybody else to become live. Annie, you're still active, but you don't seem to make a noise. All right.
Well,
so
I wanted
if you
to
have
say,
questions, just unmute and then say out.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello. I could hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, let's keep going. I'm recording the whole session anyway, so don't stress. We can afterwards easily go and replay everything if you have more questions and feedback. So detox with PMF, oxygenate with PMF, and recharge with PMF. Now the last one, which is very important, is nutrify with PMF. And nutrification, if we look at this, it's quite powerful because the absorption of supplements, if you take, is massively increased. And we've done a lot of studies, and there is at the moment studies done by PMF systems to showcase the uptake of nutrients. You know, like if you have a mercury toxicity, you will flush out selenium, iodine, you will have a copper block, zinc copper block. There is many things that are always in relation to each other. Somebody is still on microphone. Just mute if you don't want to talk or don't want to ask a question. So when you do a PMF detox and the channels are cleared out and the cells can take up nutrients, it's really powerful. You have all of that energy going straight away into the cell and you have a lot more energy. So what we found is if people are on medication and you do PMF, all of a sudden their medication works a lot stronger, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. So just check out, as a health coach, it's anyway quite important that you look at what kind of medications they take, so that when you do the PMF treatment with them or they have PMF treatment, that you can be alarmed or aware of that it might go a lot stronger in the effects, you know, blood thinners and different things that you don't want to be extremely effective, that you are careful about that. In short treatments, in presentation treatments, it's not a problem. If I give it to people and people buy devices, I always make them aware that their nutrient uptake, also medication uptake, supplementation uptake will be increased, that they keep an eye out on certain side effects, on certain responses to the body, and don't overdo it. Don't push too hard, or speak with their practitioner that their medication might be too intense. Any questions to that? No? Now, for those of you who have gone through the PMF training, you will find that we have everything in that PMF training. Next week, the new one comes out and it's mega powerful. I've added a whole lot of research and studies. So go through that, learn about it, and use it as a sales argument. I've put it in a way that it really convinces and sells, but keeps us safe and keeps us in a very responsible way. So see, here we have those extracellular. Where do we have it? Here we have extracellular in the plasma, docked onto the cell and inside the cell. Now the ones inside the cell usually don't get out. So with strong PMF, if we use a pulsing PMF, a very powerful PMF, we usually kill the cell and create apoptosis. So that's a good thing, because then the cell dies off and is replaced. If it's outside docked onto the cell, it's put into the plasma. And that's when we want to have binders that grab it. And you can see that in this slide here. You push it out, then those cells are there, and then the binders catch the toxins. Otherwise, they just snap back on, and that's it. So it's a short-term, because it's an electrical charge. So you want to get rid of those cells in a fast way, and that's why putting the binders in, and like I said here, the detox. So I think we've talked about this, and then nutrients can go in very fast, and therefore you have like a massive recharge of the body and energy. And the most important, and I do that even for presentations. So if people come to me and they have a demo, I ask them to drink before, I ask them to drink during, and ask them to drink after. Because first of all, the electrical conductivity is increased. Then the next step, which is quite important, is that Donald and Annie, oh no, Donald, you still have your microphone on and you're making noise. If you can, turn it off, or you ask a question. So the main thing here is that you get them to drink water. If you have alkaline water, really helpful. Even mineral water, even, how do you call it, electrolytes are very helpful, because it helps with the body, with that electrical charge to travel through the body and to detoxify. It helps with reducing the side effects, and it helps with the effects. So if you do treatment at home, drink something before, if you do after, and you will have much more intense results. Okay? That's minimum. And now PMF language. I make that big because I want you to really know that it's just always how we talk. And I've been to so many places where they go and, oh, this cures that and this cures that, and you just do this and it kills cancer cells. You know, just because Dr. Rao says he uses it to break down cancer cells, it's not a cancer treatment. The effects of PMF are really clear. Increases heavy metal detoxification. That's probably the strongest and most powerful effect. There's studies in Cuba, there's studies in America, there's studies in Germany that are coming out now. The strong ringer defect has a massive detox response. So cool, we love it. Dr. Gordon, Gary Gordon, did a test with 50 patients, 25 with, 25 without chelation, without PMF, and they all did a chelation program. The group with PMF had double the detox. So a really great thing. Increases oxygen uptake, increases electroporation of pathogens and unhealthy cells. See, when we have, you remember Rife, you put electric current into cells until they pop, they become more and more charged. So it's actually, you pop your unhealthy cells. That's why it works. If you use the butterfly on knees and you have an infection in your knee, it actually kills those pathogens. And it's powerful because it just makes them pop. And then you need the detox process and the lymphatic system and your liver to work. But then you kill all those infections. That's why many people, when they have infectious diseases like Lyme disease, and they use PMF, they have a massive pain relief, because all of a sudden the pain from those infections in the joints, in the areas of concern, are reduced. I have so many Lyme patients, they have PMF training, and afterwards their body relaxes and is out of pain. But you increase the toxic load going to the liver. So always keep that in balance. Increase nutrient uptake and detox by clearing the channel. Increases ATP production due to the above factors. More oxygen, more nutrients, more glucose, all of a sudden more energy, and therefore patients feel a lot stronger. And increases healing through activated immune system. Now you remember the video that Dr. Saupe did in Germany, where the immune system before was small and crumpled and in blood with lack of oxygen. And then you have done the PMF and it recharges, and all of a sudden the immune cells were, the white blood cells were crawling all over and were fully activated. Well, that's a factor that really helps us in dealing with infections, dealing with repair, dealing with tissue repair, healing of the mucous membranes, healing of the leaky gut. All of that is enhanced by using PMF, because your immune system starts to work more actively, because it has more oxygen, because it has more nutrients, and because you flush out the toxins. So simple and very, very effective. Any questions to here? What did I do? Oh no. No. Questions?
Yes, please, Marcus. It's Claudia. I'm sorry, I'm on the run a lot. So
yes, I see that. Hello.
Would you say, Marcus, that ozone does many of similar things, and how would the two complement each other, PMF and ozone?
PMF deals with pretty much similar issues than ozone, just the effects of PMF is more towards heavy metals, whereas ozone is more towards infections. Both energize the blood, both oxygenate the system, both trigger that self-healing mechanism and boost the immune system, but PMF has the advantage to deal with heavy metals and detox, whereas ozone has the advantage with the cytokines to actually kill infections. So for Lyme patients, we use both with phenomenal results. For cancer patients, heavy metals are, let's just go back to one very important thing. Biopsy done on prostate cancer, and they always cut out a bit of healthy tissue as well as the tumorous tissue. So when they took the healthy tissue and the tumor tissue and put them in the laboratory into a toxicological profile, they found that 20,000 times higher concentration of heavy metals, bacteria, fungi, and mold within the tumor than in the healthy tissue. The healthy tissue cleans itself, the cancer tissue does not. So when you start killing off cancer cells, or when you deal with prostate or any form of breast cancer with PMF, you have both factors, heavy metals and bacteria and fungi. So combining the two really deals with both aspects of the spectrum of the problem in the most effective way. And we always say, if people lack in money, I start out with ozone. It gives them so many advantages, and they have so many benefits in using ozone. And if they have enough money, we can add that. If you have a device, you can offer them the treatment with PMF in a self-treatment form. Again, I talk about that towards the end of these wholesale trainings. You can offer them the PMF training if you don't sell it as a treatment against cancer or treatment against Lyme. You just use it like they all do, pain relief and energizing. That's what it's legally allowed to be used for by the TGA, by the FDA, by the CE, ULCE, medical treatments. And that's what we use it for. So it just gives that added bonus. But it's a super expense, you know, $7,000 for the little machine or $5,000 for you, but $7,000 for the client. It's a big expense. $1,400 for ozone is a lot cheaper, and they can do that daily and deal with the infectious load and with the repair. The heavy metal is not influenced by ozone at all. Does that answer it?
Great answer. Thank you. Great answer. Thank you.
Good. Any other questions?
You've probably answered it, Marcus, but
Okay, good.
when a person...
Yeah, I was just wondering if somebody else has a question. So because, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just about the, if people have a highly healing, you would say, reaction to the PEMF, if it's too much, too soon, if you were using all the tips you're telling us to hydrate using the black box, would it be generally safe, would you say?
Okay, that's a very good question. Thank you, Claudia. A really good question. I always get the question, how many times, how often, how long, how should I do it? You know, I put this thing on around my neck, and let me just show you. We have people, let me turn it on, and I just go 5 minutes. Oh, wrong one. Stop this one here, 5 minutes. And I go put it on the strongest. Now you can see I have a slight muscle twitch. It's not strong, but it's strong for me. Now I have people that go like that. They have massive reactions on the strongest settings. And then there is other people, like sports people, they have hardly any. Now, it depends on your electrolyte content. It depends on your mineral status. It depends on so many things. I have no clue why. Also, how well your muscles react to electricity, to electrical charge. We have people that have high metal toxicity, mercury toxicity. They feel it in their whole body, and another person turns it on and sits an hour on that thing and has no reaction. See, my biggest problem here is there is no one way that is right. What I'd like to do, and this is my intent with every single client that buys one, that they find their own strength, their own charge. I cannot stress that more often. You start out with a very gentle treatment. If you feel afterwards energized and great, cool. Then you go up to the next level. If you feel still energized and cool, take it to level 3 or 4. If you feel slightly nauseated and you have a headache afterwards, or you just get tired, it's a very simple reaction. Your body goes after treatment, not into whoa, into oh. That's when you then reduce time or intensity. It's individual per person, very important. So you can't say somebody will be okay. If they're super toxic, full with medication, they might have challenges. If they come and they have no problems, well, then you can do a long treatment and there is no problem. So individualize and observe and ask the client, how do you feel? Do you feel energized, or do you feel, you know, nauseated? Would you like something to drink? Let's have a short break. You know, really take it as an individual process, not 5 minutes with that intensity 6 times a day. That it doesn't work for everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you. Wonderful.
Good. All right. PMF language we've done. Now, contraindications. It's probably, see, you get at the end, I give you a chart that looks like this, and you can download that on the website. that shows you all the contraindications and the treatments and everything, and you have the client sign that form before they treat. And I do that now so solidly, so intensely, because like I said, you get your fingers burnt once and then you normally don't do it again. So what I do now is, we just finished, it's just been signed off and it's been checked. So the contraindications are really important. Let me pull them in so that you see them big. Implanted electrical devices like pacemakers, trochlear implants, then all those pumps, which is insulin pumps and all of that, which people have often in their body or attached to their body, which they can't take away, because of magnetic field can shut down the device. So if you, I've had a gentleman, he had an ear implant for hearing aid and nobody knew it, nobody see it, and it stopped. Do you know that those things cost $10,000? Somebody has their key in their pocket from a car, a Mercedes, that was $1,200. You know, you need to be careful. Electrical devices. Now I have here my phone, and last time I was doing my phone and I was doing a treatment, let me just show you, and I was having that here, or I had my watch close, and somehow Apple is really cool. They are very, very sturdy. So I had no problems with that, but you never know. So always be careful that you don't kill an electrical device. Some of them are shielded, like Apple is all shielded. I didn't know that, but it's completely safe in an electrical environment, but some devices are not, and you don't want to kill them. So that's important. Patients with organ transplant, because of immune suppression medication, and this is the immune suppressors that they take can be rejecting, so that the organ is not rejected. So all of a sudden and it's consistently in their system. It's a very important process so that the organ is not rejected. Now, if you start using high concentration PMF with them, that medication can be activated in a massive form. So you start out very, very gentle, very slowly, and you observe with them. And in those cases, when they have an organ transplant, when they have something like kidney problems, you always want to check with their practitioner to keep an eye on their immune response, so that you don't start getting adverse reactions. That's listed in the medical field as one of the contraindications, so we're careful. Safety of PMF has not been established in pregnancy, and I would actually tell you very clearly to stay clear of that. The reason is pretty simple. It always flushes out toxins, and at a young stage, embryon state, the baby has no detox mechanisms. There is no filter system. There is still not even a blood-brain barrier built up. So when you then start using PMF on the mother, and she has mercury fillings and toxins stored everywhere, and those toxins flush out into the baby, and there is no blood-brain barrier, then those mercury toxins can establish in the brain, which we have today more than ever before. Babies being born with brain tumors, sarcomas, glioblastomas, tumors behind their eyes, tumors in their ears. It's actually a problem of the toxicity of the mother released into the baby in that early stage, because they have no detox and no filter. Those heavy metals go in, and you've seen probably that video when you put nerve cells, brain cells, they use in a petri dish snail nerve cells, and then they put a tiny bit of mercury just for 10 seconds into that petri dish, and then take it back out just to charge, and then all the nerve cells die off. Now you have that in a baby during the development state. Stay away from any kind of detox, heavy metal detox, which is not just binders. Binders, binders, binders. Young mothers, binders, perfect. But don't push toxins out into their system with PMF if they're pregnant. just precaution. Again, you know, like you'll be sued if something goes wrong. Safety of PMF. PMF should be used with caution at Graves' disease in case of active bleeding. You know, bleeders, they respond to that extreme blood flow and more pliable red blood cells. So just be careful. If somebody has that as a list of their disease, just reduce PMF or don't offer it to them. Tell them as contraindications. Be careful with dental implants, mechanical heart valves, stents. Okay, this is something that a lot of you might have heard. If I have a metal implant, let's say a stent, and they have a metal mesh, now I use my PMF or my double PMF or even the paddle, which is even stronger, right over that area, and that can rupture those vessels, those blood vessels, if they have in the brain, if they had surgery. So that's where you really need to be careful. I say no, just because I don't need to sell more devices and press it on everybody. Just to be safe in myself, I tell people, look, if you have a stent, if you have an implant, be careful. Treat yourself. You know, if you have prostate cancer and you have a stent up here, that's not a problem. You can still treat down here because the magnetic field degenerates over distance dramatically, really dramatically. If I have here, let's say 1,000 Gauss, I have up here maybe 40 Gauss. So it's really a massive degeneration over distance. So if they have a knee problem, they can use it. They like I said, colon cancer, they can use it, but they should keep it quite far away from those stents so that they don't cause those problems there. Do not use high intensity over breast implants. I didn't know they have a valve, a magnetic little valve, where they can inject and blow up boobs and reduce the boobs or whatever they want to do. So those magnetic valves, they can get damaged by the PMF machines. We had that once. A lady bought a machine and then the silicon or the whatever it is, saline solution drained into under the skin and massive problems. So just be cautious and ask those questions. They're listed on that little chart. So the patient reads those contraindications, or you read that to them, and then have them sign. I don't have any of those conditions. Hey, great. Then here you go and do the treatment. There's actually pulse centers. Many of you have heard of pulse centers. They do treatment for a lot of clients, and they had quite a few incidents like that. So they are starting now to implement those contraindication lists and weavers and everything as well, just to be safe. Questions to that? We're already an hour in.
Will you send all those to us, Marcus, the slides, please?
Yes, yes, yes. You get the slides, contraindication, the waiver, the form to let them sign, and then you sell devices. Like, you know, I really think if we work together and you can explain things to your client in the best possible way, and you get those slides, and then you have the forms, and then you can show them, you can just join in a very, very, it's like a boom. I don't know where it comes from. Sometimes there is, we had one video out about PMF, my little one, you know, about the Clinic Duo. It's an hour-long webinar, and I just put it on YouTube, and it has 16,000 or 18,000 views. It was caught up by an English radio station, and all of a sudden we had one sale after the other coming from that. So, you know, like, just make your own. If you have a PMF device, make a video, use those slides, explain what it does, and then share that with others. You can just as well earn really good income from that, just like me. Side effects, I already spoke about it. It's nothing dramatic, very simple. Herxheimer reaction, we all know it's a flush out of toxins. Nauseated, if that's happening, if somebody goes like, oh, I'm not feeling so well, stop. That's when massive amounts of toxins are released and not yet digested. So stop the treatment, give them some time, let them drink something, and then tell them they can come back again, and you start gently building up, but don't overdo that. Nauseated, headaches, slight tinkling in their feeling, fingers. If there's an electrical feeling, then reduce. A burning sensation, sometimes, I don't know, I haven't had that. And overstimulation. Oh, this is my subject. More helps more, right? The more I do a treatment, the more it helps. Well, not quite. I was trying out what is the maximum and what happens if I overdo it. And so I put the loop on my chair, and I had the device beside me on my office desk, and I turned it on every 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and did 3 hours of PMF the whole day, like really 4 hours. And all I got was more and more and more tired. My system was completely shattered, shocked, like it was overstimulation. So I was really, really exhausted after that. I had no other symptoms, but that overstimulation, that really doing too much, it's like overcharging a battery, it burns out. So you want to charge it till it's full and then use the energy, charge it again and use the energy. What we do here is just we overstimulate, and therefore we cause a tiring of the system. And cardiovascular problems. If somebody, normally if you have heart palpitations, irregular heartbeat, it's balanced out with PMF. So people who have heart palpitations, they do it a few times, their system self-regulates, but you can exactly, I would say it's more to do with the stress, females especially. It feels very strange. I don't like that feeling. Oh my God, it's scary. And the panic that they develop in doing the treatment is actually more the stress related than panic factor, than cardiovascular problems, or their heart rate goes up because of the fear factor, because they don't like that feeling. Gently starting, ease into the treatment, which is actually my next slide. How to be safe, I already said that. These are, whoops, here you see them, the stents. They are metal mesh. So if that's inside, then really be careful. Those little blocked stents, those valves, they have metal clips at the end. They can rupture and shatter. So that's something. Electrical pulse generator, pacemaker, or pump, what do we say? Insulin pump. Put that, just take that as a slide and put that on the wall, and you're safe. You have here glasses and necklaces. If I have this, and you've probably seen my video, and I have a metal necklace, the metal necklace starts sparking. Scary. There can be a spark if they have nose piercing, like dong, dong. Really scary, so be careful. Hearing aids, credit cards, wallet, and car keys at the little basket at the door. So don't let them have that on their body when they do the treatment, because those little magnetic stripes on the credit cards are dead. The little electronic chip, dead. If you don't want your passport being tracked, put it in a PMF and it's killed. But then at the border, when they want to swipe it, it doesn't work. So just be careful that these are taken care of and you should be safe. Okay, safety documentation you get from me, I'll send it to you. And that also includes, let me just go one more, a chart where you can document. So if you have treatments at home, if you show people the treatment, document that you can actually showcase what happened. This is quite a nice chart. It tells you when they came, the time, how long they did, which device it was. Then we go into, oh, what did I do? Let me go back into presentation mode. So we do the intensity that we had, and then we observe the effects that they had during the treatment and the effects that they had when they come next time. How did you feel afterwards? Did you have more energy? Did you increase this? Did what? So that we document. The more you can document, the more you can show that you actually was careful in easing into the treatment, and you get this chart to use that. Okay, binders we already spoke about. So pretty much everything is done. So now we go into the treatment, how you use the device with all the different applicators. Let me just go back here so that you see that. But do we have any questions to the previous?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes,
What about metal
I can hear you
joint
very well.
for like hip
No problems.
replacement? Titanium, no problems? And artificial joints that are metal?
They actually use, no, not a problem at all. They actually use PMF to reduce inflammation after surgery, to increase the wound healing faster, to bind the healing, you know, all the bone repair that needs to be around the screws and all of that, to strengthen the bone where it's tied onto. All of that can be PMF used. Their main effect with metal is more in regards to in your mouth, heavy metal, different, you have, you know, like I spoke about that in many cases. You have gold, titanium, and mercury, and you use PMF close to your mouth, you know, like you use it like this, then you would create an electrical conductivity where the least valuable material, like mercury, for example, is released in massive ways because of the electrical conductivity. So different metals in the mouth is a bad thing. Now, if you have different metals and you start using PMF to strengthen your bone, you can actually cause more heavy metal to be released. But internally built in pure titanium, no problem whatsoever.
Well, I will mention that Quicksilver, that same company, Quicksilver Scientific, they also have another product called MER
Yes.
Protect, which will bind the release of metals.
MER Protect.
Yes, by Quicksilver Scientific.
I'll check it out. They have so many products, it's really difficult to check out which one is the most suitable for whatever condition you deal with. But thank you, I'll check it out. Any other questions? No. Just pop up if you have a question. Otherwise, we'll go through the treatment and the different applicators. Now, many of you will be asked, should I get a pad or not? It's the only additional option that you can buy with or without. And I tell you very honestly, you don't need it. I can deal with this everywhere. Look, it's the size. I can put that into my back and treat my kidneys and my sacral and my lower back without a problem. I pull it up between my shoulder blades and I do 5 minutes there. Lungs, you know, from the back, my spine, my shoulders, all of that is helped. I can use it around my neck, which is lung, heart, thyroid, you know, thymus, all of that, which is greatly enhanced. I can use it around my head and use it for brain treatment, for ears, for eyes, glaucoma in the face, all of that really enhanced. I can put it on my belly and have a treatment there. And then I use for areas that are more private, you know, more intensity. I can use that for prostate treatment, and I use it from the top and from the bottom. So I hope, yeah, you can see now it's just out of the mic, but you see I sit on it, so I can use it from underneath. Now that is pretty much systemic treatment, a full-on systemic treatment. If I have knee problems, I put the butterfly over the top. If I put elbow, if I put shoulder, you know, if I have dental problems, I use it around my jaw. If I use it for my head, I put it over the top like that. These two would be, in my opinion, totally sufficient. They give you every single treatment option on the planet. If you use them, this is a very, somebody told me, I've never showed it. I put it around, and I think you can see it, and I put it here. So I use my hip and my crutch and my prostate and everything, and now I turn gently while I do the treatment and do my Roomba. And if I do that, I can do that right and left each 5 minutes for hip joints, for hip problems, for stiffness, for internal problems, for incontinence for females, you know, the whole lot. You don't need anything else but that and the butterfly. And they are standard with every single device that you order. Now, the Duo Clinic comes with the paddle. Now, for the small one, for the DCM 3990, we call it now the Mono. You know, the Duo and the Mono. The Mono has no paddle, and these soak up massive amounts of energy. So if I use the paddle, I only use one applicator, and the paddle is deep penetration, narrow focus, very deep. So if I have a broken bone and I would like to treat exactly where the breakage is, I use the paddle. If I have internal liver problems, or I want to really target a cancer tumor, then breast or whatever, I can use the paddle. It's not very pleasant. It's a very sharp spike, and it's very narrow. So it's more like a deep penetration, whereas these are more soft, more round, more general recharge and detox, whereas this one is very piercing. So they give that with the Clinic Duo and with the big devices like the PMT, because they use up a lot of energy. And for the little device, they're not that effective for the single. So that's something you can use, for example, for local treatments for areas in the back. If somebody has shoulder problems and you really want to get deep into that shoulder with your treatment, you would use that. I wouldn't use it around the head. That's a bit too intense because it really has that sharp spike and you don't want to overdo it there. But you could use it around your teeth and your jaw to have a treatment there. I don't know yet how I like the paddle. I always say it's something you have. If you need it, try it out. I don't know. I was in the beginning very excited because Dr. Rao loves it to really treat cancer, a solid tumor, and then he puts it on it and uses it around to break down the tumor. I'm not so sure if that's something we should do. They do it in the clinic, they monitor, and then they put the patient into a massive detox program, chelate the patient. And you know, if you break down tumor cells, big tumor cells, you flush out a lot of toxins, you break the membrane, and that's when you then release toxins into the body. So be careful with advertising this. It's part of the package. Show them how to use it, but don't push it too hard because it is a very, very strong, deep pulse that can really shatter cells. What I said before, if you have infections in your knees and you really would like to, you know, arthritis based on viral overgrowth or bacterial overgrowth, this is very effective, even stronger than the butterfly. Whereas the butterfly, I don't need to hold, I don't need to do anything, I just turn it on and have it a bit longer, okay? So that's the basics. It really is simple. But now everybody will ask, do I need a pad? And I always say it's the couch potato treatment. I go and sit and turn it on in the evening and watch a movie and have the whole, from up here, all the way down to my sacral, pulse gently into my body. Now this is more, because it's unpleasant. When you turn it up, I had this one on before. So if I turn this up to highest load, this is quite an intense pulse. And I can feel it all the way through. My belly is popping, my shoulders, it goes into the heart, it goes into the lungs. It's quite strong. So I would not like that. I would probably use it on level 2. And have that in the evening as a recharge before I go to bed. Now, massage practitioners love that pad. They put it on the bed and then lay the patient on, and they put it on 1-2, and they have the treatment, you know, massage, while they pulse energy into the body. Wow, deep tissue massage with PMF is phenomenal. Acupuncture with PMF is mind-blowing, because think about those little needles that you put into the body. They are antennas, and their main purpose is to catch electrons and negative ions out of the air and lead them into that acupuncture point so that this point is electrically recharged. Now I have PMF and I pulse millions of negative ions into the air, which are then led through that little antenna into the acupuncture point. Wow. I have one, we are planning a training with her. She's a very good acupuncturist. I brought her the small PMF. We set it up and she was doing treatments. The second day she called me back and said, Marcus, this is absolutely shocking. I have the results that I normally have after 4 or 5 treatments after the first. It's absolutely cool how much the treatment is enhanced with PMF. So we will have a training about that soon coming up. And that's it. So the pad is for couch potatoes. It's for people who want better sleep and more energy. And it has something else. And I would like to show that to you. And I need my microphone for that. Oops, where are we? Okay. You hear that little duck? I think it's hard to hear. There is a second, let me just go and turn it all the way up. There is a second little frequency underlaying. It's hard to hear. I don't know why. Maybe I need to turn it back on and do the 5 minute. Ah, now you can hear it. See, because I had both connected. I hope you can hear it. You have the tick, 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 tick. That's 7.89 hertz, Schumann frequency, Earth magnetic field. And then you have the strong pulse over the top. Now, if you use that device on a low setting, on the very low, you have the Schumann frequency and the 10 hertz frequency, which is the magnetic field of the Earth. This is what we use, and you get that little speaker with your device sent so that you can show that to clients and you can prove it. But something really important here is that you stimulate sleep, you stimulate relaxation, you stimulate that complete body relax at the same time as you do the high power treatment. And that is really great. I've had so many patients, they use it in the afternoon to recharge the body, and then they turn the device off for sleep. And that is where you then really get that recharge. You know that during sleep, you need a lot of energy to heal, to detoxify, to repair. It's when your mind shuts off, then all energy is sent into the body to do the healing and the detoxification and the repair. So as soon as you start recharging the body before you go to bed, all that process during the night is triple as effective. And that's why we use it for afternoon hours, just on a low level, just to recharge, to calm the system down, to calm the mind down, to inspire that relaxation, and then go to bed. And you won't have those restless leg syndrome, sleeping problems. All of those things are more or less gone because your body has energy to do the healing. Okay, questions? You're still all here. That's really nice. We're long. We're 1 hour, 1.5 hours already. Is there any questions? I think you just all put on record and left. No questions. Okay. Oh, our system has shut down. Oh, well. That's pretty much it. I have just one more slide, and I wanted to show you that. And it just is very simple. We have here 750 Gauss. That's a little device. So on level 1, it's 750 Gauss. On level 2, 1400, 2288, setting 3. And these are measured results, not fantasy. They're measured results. And then you go up to level 5, which is 399. That's almost 4,000 Gauss. So the single device for home use is the most powerful on the planet at the moment and the most effective with a very sharp spike and perfectly usable for clinic, small clinic, and home use. The Duo is 8,000 Gauss because it's just 2 machines at once. And if you use only one applicator, it's taken both of them together. So you have 8,000 Gauss on one outlet. And that is very, very powerful in Australia, New Zealand, and everybody with 220 volt. In America, it's 7,000 Gauss. So in America, all devices are a little bit less powerful, but they are still very effective. And that's it. Now you've been to the training, and I will send you the papers. And I have one more slide. Are we still on? Is still somebody there? Just at least say hello.
Yep, I'm still here, Marcus. Yep.
I'm still here, Marcus.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, good. Okay. Sorry for taking so long. I didn't think it would take that long. But I have only one more thing. For those of you who would think you sell more than 5 devices, get in touch with me, get in contact with me, and get your own email address as a coupon code. I set you up with your own coupon code. So when you use the coupon code to order, use your own, and then we count. If you sell more than 5 devices, you go up in commission. If you sell more than 10 devices, you go up in commission again. So it's like an increase in earning the more you sell. We have practitioners that sell at the moment 20 devices a month. We have at the moment something like 60 devices on our own. So don't think that's impossible. It's a huge market. And it's booming like hell. So don't miss out. If you want to sell more than 5, just give me your call. I put up your coupon code as your email, and that will mean it's counted in your account. If you just sell now and then 1, you don't see that as your own business, you don't want to push a lot of effort into it, then use TH minus coach minus confidential, which is anyway your coupon code, and that gives you 20% discount on everything we have in the cart. So that's a really important thing. TH Coach Confidential gives you a discount on any product that we have in the cart, so you can sell it to your clients with profit. And if you just look, you know, like yesterday, a client of mine sold a PMT 120, and he sold TH Coach Confidential. Look at the earnings. If we zoom into that, he made $4,200 profit out of one sale. Is that cool? So simple, follow those instructions. I'll send you those slides so that you have them, and then you can focus on really earning a very good income. You know, like having one coaching client and feeding them through the whole process and selling them treatments until you have $4,000 earned takes a lot of time, right? And here you have one sale, and that one client comes back and refers 5 others, which is what normally happens. I have one client in Brisbane. He has bought 2 devices, and then he started to talk about it, and now he sold, I think, over 12 devices in the last 3 months. So it's self-selling. You just need to have them go for a test treatment and show them how it works, and all of a sudden people want their own. So don't get shy. Join in and create a good income.
Great, thank you, Marcus.
Thank you too. Thanks for joining. I'll put the recording up and look forward to next week when we look at ozone training and we do ozone wholesale, because this is just, those two are absolutely rampant and you don't want to miss out. Okay? Thanks for joining me. And if you have questions, send them to me in any form, email, text message. You all know how to contact me. Bye-bye.
Thanks.